good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. This is Geaux Stros. Today we have the game one of the away series between the Astros and the Royals. Just a moment, I will let you know the lineups. Should have the opening pitch in just a couple of moments. Let me go to my main channel's stream so I can make sure everything is running accordingly. Okay, it's looking good on there. Put something in the chat. As always, just going to type in Geaux Stros. Pin that message to the top. Astros have Wesneski on the mound today. Hayden Wesneski. Not having himself a bad year so far. He will be leading the way for the Astros on the defense. On the offensive side, here is our Astros lineup. Altuve is going to be at second base today, which I'm very happy about. I'd like for him to just stay on second base. I love him there. He's going to be followed by Alvarez in the DH spot. Isaac Paredes at third base, batting third. Batting fourth is Pena at shortstop. Christian Walker is batting fifth at first base. Zach DeCenzo is in the game again today in left field. Caratini will be behind the plate. Diaz has the day off. Cam Smith is in right field. Jake Myers in center field. It looks like we have our, I guess you could say, kind of our best guys right now in the outfield with Cam Smith, Jake Myers, and Zach DeCenzo. Altuve was chatting it up with the umpire, and he's stepping up to the plate. He'll be ready for that first pitch in just a moment. Seth Lugo is on the mound for the Royals with a 3.9 ERA thus far this season. The KC crowd booing Altuve. First pitch is low and away, outside. Ball one. Casey Jones, what's up? Got the ESPN streamcast on the other side. Hi, Casey. Thanks for being here. Here's the pitch to Altuve. A little low and inside. It could have been a strike, but not framed very well. 2 balls and no strikes. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Little low and outside, man, but the umpire liked that one. That would look like more of a ball than the previous one. 2-1 is the count. Here comes the pitch. Altuve takes that one right down the middle, 90-mile-per-hour four-seam fastball. That one was a good one to go for. Here's the 2-2 pitch. This is grounded towards shortstop. He's going to have to hustle over, and he gets it, and Altuve grounds out for the first out of the game. And yes, Casey, go Astros. Philip, thank you for coming back. Astros pitching is off the chain. Yeah, it's freaking awesome right now, isn't it? If they just hit average, if they just hit for their average, they can go all the way with pitching like this. Yordan Alvarez comes to the plate, still looking to break out of his slump so far this year. He goes after the first one, 92 miles an hour, fouled away. .221 right now. He's brought his average up just a little bit. Seems to be doing a little better, batting in the second slot. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. He takes that one low and inside for strike one. Yordan mixes it up this time. Instead of taking the first pitch for a strike, he takes the second pitch for a strike. 0-2, here's the pitch. He fouls that one off the plate. Very slow curveball. He barely got a hold of it. Count remains 0-2. If he had waited on that one, he could have launched it. Here comes the 0-2. In the dirt. Another slow curve. One ball, two strikes. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Strike three. Jordan goes down swinging on a 91-mile-per-hour cutter up and out. So a ground out and a strikeout. And that brings up Isaac Paredes. Paredes having a better luck overall this season so far, batting .233. Here comes the first pitch to him. Just a tad low on that fastball. Ball one. That one's right in the zone and hits straight up in the air to dead center. Second baseman goes out to get it, but the center fielder calls him off, and that's it for the Astros in the top of the first. 3 up and 3 down with a ground out, a strikeout, and a fly out. Seth Lugo going through that inning with just 12 pitches. Hayden Wesneski will be up on the mound for the Astros in just a moment. We are in a short break. Paredes at third. Yeah, that's right. Paredes is at third and Walker's at first. Philip says, thank you, brother, for being real. Much love and prayers, homie. Thank you so much, Philip. I appreciate that. It's a mixed bag to do the Astros live streaming. It has its rewards and its challenges. But it's what I feel is a good direction for me right now in my life, so I'm just going to keep plugging away. The game tomorrow is also a similar start time, but the game on Monday, which is, if for you guys in the US, is Sunday. That's an afternoon game for you, but for me, the afternoon games are very difficult because it's at 3 o'clock in the morning. But I've still scheduled it. I plan on doing it. So I will be here for that game. It just means that I should try to get to bed as early as possible. KC has coming to bat for their leadoff Jonathan India, followed by Bobby Witt Jr. and Vinny Pasquantino. India, their leadoff batter, is only batting .200 for the year. Kind of a strange choice for a leadoff. Bobby Witt started off on fire this year, but it looks like he has cooled off a lot since then. Here comes the first pitch from Wesneski to India. That's grounded straight to Isaac Paredes at third. He fires over to first and gets the out, no problem. One away. One pitch, one out. Bobby Witt Jr. comes to the plate, batting a little over 300 at .303. Here comes the first pitch from Wesneski. Right in the top of the zone, but just a little high on that sweeper. Ball one. Oh yeah, that's right. Bobby Witt Jr. is the one with the long hitting streak. Just one game longer than Jeremy Pena right now. Wesneski misses again with another ball. 2-0 is the count. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. That one's in there, but fouled away by Witt. 92-mile-per-hour fastball. You know, as an Astros fan in particular, I find it interesting when I listen to some of the other channels calling this game for the opposite teams. They are not kind. This one's hit hard to right field all the way out to Cam Smith. Cam Smith runs to the wall, but it bounces off the wall right in the corner. It's going to be foul. Two balls and two strikes. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Witt calls timeout. Right now they are comparing Bobby Witt Jr. with Jeremy Pena. Witt's even fast on the base pads like Pena. Here's the pitch. This one's hit hard to the left side, and it actually gets through. Just happened to be in the right spot through the left side between Paredes and Pena. It was not hit very hard, just in the right exact spot. And Bobby Witt Jr. extends his hit streak to 17 games. So happy to see Altuve on second base with a big smile going on. That brings up Vinny Pasquantino. First pitch to him is just a little low and outside for ball 1. Let's see if Witt tries to take second, and if Caratini can manage to throw him out. The Astros are doing really poorly at throwing runners out this year. Here's the pitch. That one's right in there, a 90-mile-per-hour cutter. Counts even 1-1. Can you believe that Jake Myers actually has 7 stolen bases? He's only 1 behind Bobby Witt Jr. That's crazy. Here comes a 1-1 pitch to Pasquantino. Outside on that fastball. 2-1. Pasquantino batting 181, 1 for 12 in the last 3 games. Man, he's batting in the 3rd slot. Pretty rough. That's right in there. 84-mile-per-hour changeup. Evens the count, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Runner on first with 1 out. Here's the pitch. This one's hit high in the air. It was a low changeup. Jeremy Pena is underneath it. He puts it away. No problem. Tosses it to Altuve. Altuve still with a big smile on his face. He seems to be happy out there today. That's good. 2 away. Witt remains on first base. Got a few comments in the live chat. Let's take a look. It's weird Alvarez not playing on the field but batting for the pitcher as a DH. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of common, I think. Alvarez being the DH but not playing in the field is kind of a regular thing. The rules have changed so much, though, in baseball. Michael Garcia is at the plate. Here's the first pitch from Wesneski. That's in there. 93-mile-per-hour fastball. Strike 1. Let's see. What else do we have here? Philip says, go. You rooting for the Rockets tonight? Philip, I will tell you this. Yes and no. Yes, I want the Rockets to win simply because they are Houston. But no, I don't care about basketball. Not the NBA. Not really. Not anymore. I used to, but not anymore. Foul ball on that fastball. 0-2 is the count against Garcia. Many, many years ago, I stopped caring about NFL and NBA for different reasons and a couple of similar reasons. But if the Rockets can win, then I wish them the best, and I hope they do well. That next pitch just barely missed by a few inches outside. 1-2. Casey says Wesneski pitching for Houston, 4 games this season, 23 innings, another new pitcher this season for Houston. Yeah, he's doing pretty good so far. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Witt is off to the races for second base, but that ball's hit by Garcia out to center field. Myers is under it for out number 3, and that's going to be it for the Royals this inning. 1 hit, no runs. We are still tied up. Goose eggs going into the top of the 2nd. One hit given up, but that's about it. Wesneski shuts it down in the 1st inning. Astros will be back up in just a moment, leading off with Jeremy Pena, followed by Christian Walker and Zach DeCinzo. All three guys that have been coming on stronger recently. It could be a decent second inning. And I also feel good that they have Caratini, Smith, and Myers behind them. Actually, I like this lineup. I think that right now this is their best lineup. Brendan Rodgers is not in the lineup today. Normally, if he's in the lineup, he would be playing second base, but they've got Altuve there so that they can squeeze DeCinzo into left field. It wouldn't make any sense why they would take Cam out of right field. He is right where he belongs right now. I think you guys probably agree. I see I've got about 5 right now on the live. Thank you for being here. We're getting ready for the first pitch of the second inning. Seth Lugo on the mound to deliver his baker's dozen for the game. Pena strolling to the plate. The flash. I've got a buy me a coffee link. I meant to tell you guys that. I'll put that up there in just a little bit. First pitch to Pena is low and outside for ball 1. Good take. 90-mile-per-hour changeup. Here comes a 1-0 pitch from Lugo. Too far inside. Sinker. Another good take by Pena. 2-0. Here's the pitch. Ooh, that one caught the lower inside corner for strike 1. Fastball. 92 miles an hour. Here comes the pitch. Right in the middle of the plate, fouled back. 89-mile-per-hour cutter. Evens the count 2-2. Lugo seems to have quite a variety of pitches, but I haven't seen anything that is incredibly difficult to hit. Astros should have a decent time getting some runs on the board. This batting lineup has nobody batting under 200, and that's an improvement. This is grounded to shortstop. Pena's off to the races. He has to fire over quick and barely gets him. So that's another ground out with Junior with the play. Christian Walker is due up to the plate. Pena is looking for another hit this game to extend his hitting streak. Comes the first pitch to Walker. Right on the inside edge, fastball, 92 miles an hour, strike 1. Oh, and 1, here's the pitch. Little outside, 88-mile-per-hour slider, and that evens the count 1-1. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. That was a nice pitch. Slow curve right in the top of the zone, 73 miles an hour. Whoop. There we go. 20 pitches now for Lugo. I wonder if they called Lugo Loogie when he was a kid. Probably. Here's the pitch. Strike 3. Walker goes down on a high fastball, 95 miles an hour. A half swing. You could call that a half-hearted swing. Every time I see that, I'm reminded of what my coach used to say on a swing like that. Either swing the bat or don't swing the bat. And that was one of those moments. Swing the bat or don't swing it, but don't swing like that. Here's the pitch to DeCinzo. Right on the outside edge, a good curveball. Slow curveball. Strike 1. 5 for 7 in the last 2 games. Yeah, he's on fire right now. Low and outside in the dirt. 83 miles an hour. The count's even, 1-1. Here comes the next pitch from Lugo. DeCenzo swings at that one right in the middle of the plate, a 94-mile-per-hour fastball, but is not able to get the wood on it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 25th pitch of the game coming for Lugo in just a moment. Christian Walker has kind of like the Jason Statham look going on. The beard and then nothing up top. Fouled away on that slow curve. Count remains 1-2 against DeCenzo. Heard from the crowd. Here's the next pitch. Check swing. He didn't. He tried to hold up. But, you know, just like I said about Walker, swing or don't swing, but don't do that. Strike 3. Another strikeout for Lugo. He's got 3 now, I believe. Jordan, Walker, now DeCenzo. And that's it for the top of the second. We go into the bottom of the second. Wisniewski will be back up on the mound in just a moment. He had 15 pitches the first inning. A little bit high. I'd like to see that at no higher than 12, but preferably 10 pitches per inning. And of course they are showing another commercial with Ohtani. There are 2 teams that I'm just tired of seeing, but Los Angeles is always one of them. Philip says, "Why y'all tripping?" Who are you talking about? Are you talking about the batters, Philip? I guess so. If the Astros have a problem, it's typically on the batting side, right? On the offensive side. It's their breakdowns in the pitching is less than usual, right? It's less than most teams. They have the occasional breakdown, but it's not common. Yeah, now they're showing a Cubs highlight reel. Those are the 2 teams I'm tired of seeing, the Cubs and the Dodgers. They promote them so hard. And here in Japan, whenever you go around to the shopping centers and the stores and stuff, of course, they've just got everything covered in Dodgers everywhere all the time. Even before Ohtani, you could get Dodgers stuff in any town, in any city. You could find Dodgers hats and stuff. But now it's ridiculous. There's just stuff everywhere. It's even worse than before. And you can also get, Cubs hats and shirts and stuff like that. This Astros shirt, I just got a few days ago at a vintage store. First time I've found an Astros shirt in Japan, by the way. Michael Massey's at the plate, takes the first pitch for ball 1. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Wisniewski. Outside ball 2. 2-0 to the leadoff batter. Well, with Ohtani's stature and abilities, he's a bit of a hero. Yeah, he is, but it's just a shame that he's playing for the Dodgers because I can't like him. I can't like him if he was playing for the Dodgers. 2 balls and 1 strike. That pitch was in there. Here comes the 2-1 after a long delay from Wisniewski. Massey swings at that one and fouls it back. An 88-mile-per-hour cutter. Strike 2. The count is even. Kansas City runs per game is at 3.2. That's not good. I think the league average is 4. Is that right? You got to be averaging at least 4 runs per game to have a chance. Low. Massey checked his swing, almost went around, but now we have a full count. Three and 2. Here comes the pitch. That's hit hard to right field, all the way out to the warning track, but Cam Smith has a little room. He gets it literally 1 foot in front of the wall. Holy cow, that was close. It kept going and going and going, and finally he made the catch at the wall, right at that fence. They call it a wall, but that's a fence. Bullpen fence. When Smith caught it, he was literally a foot from that fence. Another 5 feet, and that would have been a homer. As it stands, that's out number 1. It brings up Hunter Renfroe. Here's the first pitch to Renfroe. That's hit hard to the right side and past Altuve. That's going to get through for a single. Cam Smith is right there to bring it in. Very first pitch, and there's a base runner, a 1-out base runner. Renfroe 1 for 1 today with that single. Second hit of the game, and second for the Royals. Drew Waters comes to the plate to face Wesneski. Man, Renfroe was only batting 179 for the season. 88 miles an hour on the outside edge for strike 1 to Waters. Okay, he hasn't played as many games, but he's batting 275. They said he's done better recently, which is why he's in the lineup, but batting 7th. Here's the pitch. Strike. Swing and a miss. 93 mile per hour fastball. 0-2. Wesneski gets ahead of him in the count. This next pitch will be his 25th of the game. Looks like some decent weather in KC right now. A little overcast. This is hit hard to right field, and that's going to be down for a hit. Renfroe's going to get to third easily. Smith brings it in, and that's a double for Waters. Runners on second and third with that rip to right field. Three hits now for the Royals. That was just a high fastball with no movement. Not a good pitch. I'm pretty sure that that's not what he meant to do. And they weren't playing him over there. They weren't expecting him to pull that ball, so there was no chance for Smith to catch it. Here comes the first pitch to Freddie Fermin. Ooh. He checked his swing, and it was a few inches outside. They call it a strike. I'm not sure if they're saying it was a strike because they thought he went or what, because I was not in the zone, but either way, it's a strike. Fermin batting 222. Batting 8th for the Royals. One away, runners on second and third. Here's the pitch. A swing and a miss. Nice, beautiful pitch. A sinker inside and low at 95 miles an hour. Wesneski has been getting some 2-strike counts, but just allowing them to come back and get hits. This is an opportunity for him to shut him down and get a second out. Here comes the pitch. That's right in the zone, and it's hit high into shallow right field. Smith comes in to get it. Renfroe does not tag. It's too shallow. Two away. Good outcome there. 2 strikes, then a fly out to shallow right field. Smith threw that ball all the way in, but Caratini was able to catch it. Smith was not wanting to play around, but there was no way that Renfroe was going to tag from third. That brings up the 9th batter of the lineup, Isbell. Kyle Isbell. Here comes the pitch. Curveball, high and outside, ball 1. Isbell batting 286 with runners in scoring position so far this season. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Wesneski gets the swing and miss there with the 86 mile per hour changeup on the inside, evening the count 1-1. Let's go. Yes, let's go. Phillips says, we just could sometimes. I don't know, man. I've had friends that have done it, but I've never had the need or the desire. 86 mile per hour pitch in the dirt. 2-1. I greatly value being sober, so I rarely drink, and if I do, it's not much. I don't even like taking drugs from the doctor. They don't make me feel good. This is hit out into on the left side. Paredes and Pena are over there, but Paredes takes charge, and that's going to be out 3. Just a little pop to third. And Wesneski gets out of it after giving up several hits. Or a couple of hits, rather. He strands runners on second and third. And the Royals come away with nothing there, thankfully for the Astros. We go into the bottom of the second. Let's change all of this on screen now. I'm sorry, the top of the third. The top of the third. I forgot the Astros are on the road here. Scoreless through 2 innings. 3 hits for the Royals and none for the Astros thus far. The Batman himself, Victor Caratini, is coming up in just a moment, followed by Cam Smith and Jake Myers. I am surprised, though, that through the first 6 batters or so, the Astros have yet to get a hit. Surprised about that. I expected them to start hitting the ball early, but the Royals flipped the script. However, maybe from the 3rd inning on, it's all Astros all the time. We'll see. Let me see if I can make my... I want to put my Buy Me a Coffee link in here for you guys, or at least try to. Let's do an element, a shape. I'm going to do a shape. Change the color. What kind of color do I need? I need a kind of a bluish color. About that one. That one's fine. Victor Caratini is up at the plate. Here comes the first pitch from Lugo. 91 miles an hour, right in there, taken for strike 1. Well, that one's hit to center field, all the way out to center field. A little difficult, but the center fielder is able to get it on the run. He almost overran it. But Caratini flies out for the first out of the inning. Nice ride, though. I do have a Buy Me a Coffee link, and I'm going to put that on the screen, guys. Wow, that one was hit straight to Bobby Witt Jr., a line drive by Cam Smith. And just like that, out number 2. 2 up and 2 down off a minimal amount of pitches. Jake Myers comes to the plate. 8 up and 8 down for the Astros so far. Absolutely nothing going, not even a walk. Nothing. Here's a pitch to Myers. In the bottom of the zone, 92 miles an hour, strike 1. Looks like that's going to be a foul ball and strike 2 on Jake Myers. 2 balls. Oh, I'm sorry, no balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. A slow curveball makes Myers look like an amateur there. That was terrible. What a terrible swing and miss by Myers. And the Astros are 3 up and 3 down. Lugo has gone through this batting order like nothing, facing all 9 batters in 3 innings, 3 up and 3 down each time. The Astros don't have a single hit, not even a walk, nothing. Okay. got my buy me a coffee link. I'm going to put that up in just a moment. I'm starting to wonder when they will one of these days I'll have a programmer, whenever they use HTML to build a website, if they will manage to figure out a way to get it to build the screen without everything jumping around. Because as I'm trying to click on things, it's moving around because the screen is kind of populating and building itself. It's very annoying when you're trying to click on things quickly and it keeps moving around and then you wind up clicking on the wrong thing. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? You probably do. Wesneski's back up on the mound. He'll be facing Jonathan India for the second time. Image. There we go. That first pitch is a strike. There we go. I think. There we go. It's on the screen now. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that next pitch is just a little out of the zone for ball 2. Here comes the 2-1 pitch to India. Fouled off. 91 up and in. Count is even. 2-2. Nothing better than sobriety after going hard for a long time. Energy back, critical thinking back, hygiene back, motivation, etc. For me anyway. Casey, that's the way I like to feel all the time. I don't want to ever lose that. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Way inside and high for ball 3. We have a full count against India. Cam Smith, Casey says, born on 2/22 and is 22 years old. Deuces Wild is his new nickname. It fits him for now. Full count pitch on the way from Wesneski. India swings and fouls it off. Count remains 3-2. Casey says that's what happens to me when the laser on my mouse is not correctly reading the Surface mouse pad correctly. Yeah, it's annoying to be clicking on the wrong stuff. Technology. It's a double-edged sword. Zing zing all over. That's right. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's another full count pitch from Wesneski. Swing and a miss. He gets the strikeout finally. That's the first strikeout. As many counts as he's had with 2 strikes, that's the first one he's able to pick up. High ball inside. High fastball, that is. Up and in. 94 miles an hour. Strike 1. India just couldn't get the bat around on it. Tough pitch. 40th pitch of the game on the way to Bobby Witt Jr., and that's in there for a strike. A nice curveball. Bobby Witt started off this game with a single. Here comes the next pitch. Low and outside, ball 1. The count is even. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. He fouls that one off down the third base side along the dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Bobby Witt. Witt. For those of you who get that joke. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Ooh, He got him to start to go on that dirty pitch. Sweeper, low and in the dirt, outside, but ball 2, the count is even. Be nice to get a strikeout on Witt right here. Wisniewski takes his time, takes a big breath. Now here comes the pitch. This is hit hard into left field. That's going to be another hit. Back-to-back singles for Bobby Witt. Very easy curveball. No, that was a sweeper. Right in the middle of the plate. Just, boom, waited on it. It had a little movement on it, but not much. Easily able to get the bat on it. Witt is 2 for 2 today against Wisniewski. He's got his number. Let's see if he tries to steal second this time. I would imagine he would. Wisniewski goes over to first base. Witt is back. No problem. Casey says Cam took Tucker's spot. I'm still sore. Tucker was my guy. I loved Tucker. Casey, I loved Tucker. I really did. But I completely understand why they traded him. And I probably would have done the same thing. Because they just couldn't afford to keep him. He was coming up at the end of his contract, and they were going to have to pay big money. And I don't think it would have been worth it. I mean, as good as Tucker is, I don't think it's worth it. The players are already getting paid so much. Pasquantino hits it out to left field. DeCenzo's underneath it, no problem. Out number 2. Witt stays on first base. And that'll bring up Michael Garcia. Michael. Of course, it's not Michael. M-I-M-A-I-K-E-L. Michael Garcia. Get that right. Here comes the first pitch to Garcia after a long pause from Wisniewski. Witt's going on the very first pitch. The throw's there, and they call him out at second base. Are you kidding me? Are they going to take a look at it? That was a pretty good throw by Caratini. It looks like Pena's one with a tag. But no challenge. They got him. Holy cow, Victor Caratini, the Batman, becomes the throw-out man on that play. Finally, the Astros throw out a base runner. Out of about 30 attempts, they've only thrown out about 3. Finally, with a throw-out. We go into the top of the 4th. This game tied up 0-0, but the Royals have 4 hits. The Astros have nary a 1. Casey Jones says, makes me feel like he was just a paycheck player. Just take what they give you, man. How greedy he was drafted by Houston and got the big contract, and they won a championship. What the heck? Well, you know, Casey, I would say this. I don't know about you, but since I started live streaming the games last year, I've developed a completely different perspective on a lot of things. Whenever you watch every single game, and I don't mean just watching, I mean you're really focused, and doing the live stream on the games is different than just watching the games. When you're at home just watching the game, even if you have the time and the luxury to sit at home and watch every game and sometimes go to the games, there's a ton of stuff you're going to miss because you're going to be distracted by people and some other things. But when you're actually calling the games, you have to pay very close attention to everything that's going on and try to understand everything that's going on. It's not always so clear. You have to think very quickly, and you have to really focus on the game. You don't have time to focus really on much else. There's a lot of stuff that I like to try to say and want to say sometimes in the live stream, but I just can't because the game is moving so quickly, especially since the rule change. But from last year until now, I've developed some different perspectives. And after watching Tucker play, there's some things about him that I don't like, actually. So yes, he does have a good natural swing. He does have a good arm. He's fast. He's a smart player. But I'm hesitant to use the word lazy. But I don't think Tucker is a hard worker. And some people might disagree with me because of that. But the only reason I say that is because I've watched him play. He relies heavily on his ability, his natural ability. But I've seen him play defense that is so lackadaisical and lazy sometimes, and the way he runs or conducts himself in the game. Well, we just had a long drive there by Altuve all the way to the warning track and caught at the warning track. He almost had a home run right there. Yordan Alvarez is at the plate now. Takes the first pitch for a strike. The second one is inside for ball one. And that evens the count. Man, while I'm sitting here talking to you guys, Altuve just almost hit a home run. I want him to come through and start muscling those out. Next pitch is in there. 79 mile per hour strike. Slow curve. 1-2. Anyway, I just don't have a lot of respect for players who play not to their full potential, and Tucker is one of those guys. He's making the big money now. Good for him. But he is playing a game, and he's playing in a manner that is too relaxed for me. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Grounded to the third base side. First baseman flips it to Lugo, who steps on the base, and that's out number 2. Yordan goes down on a soft grounder to first. And that brings up Isaac the Ball Paredes. Casey Jones says same with Springer. And what's his name that went to the Blue Jays? You're talking about Springer and Correa? They're on a second-rate team living in Canada. Yeah, you're basically right about that. They went for money, but if you were in their shoes, would you do that? I don't know. Paredes rips that first pitch into the crowd. That was a launch, but he got around on it way too early. That one was calling for the left field fence. 0-1 is the count. The 40th pitch coming up for Seth Lugo. Low and outside, 72 miles per hour. Splitter, good take by Paredes. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. This is hit hard to right field. It might be going down. Yes, it gets down all the way to the wall. Paredes is easily going to get to second. And off the wall double to opposite field, right field. On the 1-1 pitch, now we have ourselves a base runner. A 2-out base runner. Good swing on the slow curve. Big leg kick for Paredes there. Just a beautiful at-bat, beautiful swing. Man, Paredes has got the dad bod with that gut going on, man. How is he able to play third base so well with that body? Pena's up at the plate with Paredes on second. Whoops, I put him on first. My bad. That first pitch is in there for strike one. Pena looking for his first hit in this game to extend his streak. Second pitch is a little high. The slow curve doesn't hit its mark. Good take by Pena, 1-1. 2 outs, runner in scoring position. The Astros with an opportunity to get somebody on the board first. Some points on the board, rather. Way inside, almost got Jeremy's knees. Whoops. Ball 2. 45 pitches. This is grounded to third. Should be an easy play. And it is. They get Jeremy Pena at first base, so the Astros strand Paredes on second base. Come away with nothing, but they do manage to finally get a hit. We go into the bottom of the fourth. All goose eggs still. Astros 1 hit. Royals 4 hits. No errors, no runs. Nothing going on in the way of scoring. Tucker was practically leading the league. Phillips says, root. Casey says, Correa, yes, they drafted by Houston. Got 2 championship and then left. Yeah, it's funny because if you think about the core guys that left, they left because they became, quite good And they had marketability, so they could get a big paycheck. Astros weren't going to pay that, and so they left. But if they had stayed, they could have gotten more championships for sure. If we, can you imagine if we still had these guys? Obviously, not every player who left has been doing phenomenal. But think about the players that we've lost. If we still had them, if we still had Tucker and Correa and Springer, can you imagine still having those guys on the team right now? Unbelievable, I think. Finally, Astros get a hit with 2 outs. Yes. Barely, right, Casey? Right in the last part of the 4th. Yes, Altuve's the OG. It would be very difficult for me to call these games if Altuve's not out there. It's going to be a very sad day when he is no longer playing baseball, especially for the Astros. Oh, by the way, my Altuve jersey that was supposed to arrive a few days ago, they sent it back to China. It was made in China, apparently, and then they sent it here to Japan, and then they shipped it back because I wasn't home to receive it. So I have to get that worked out and get it sent back to me. I'm a little annoyed about that, but it's all good. I'll get it eventually. 0-1, the first pitch to Garcia is in there for strike 1. Wesneski takes a few moments to get the next call and deliver the pitch. Here it comes. Just a little outside, misses by a couple of inches. A cutter at 86 miles an hour. The count is even 1-1. Here's the pitch. Fouled off for strike 1. 79 mile per hour sweeper. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes a pitch from Wesneski. Garcia taps it right back to Wesneski. He misses it, but Altuve's there, and he fires over to first to get the out. Good play by Altuve. Out number 1. Garcia is retired. Michael Massey's back at the plate. First pitch to him is a fastball in the top of the zone for strike 1. Nice pitch. Wesneski now at 52 pitches. There's a 53rd. This is grounded straight to Altuve. He backhands it, bobbles it, picks it up, and fires over to first. Had a little bit of trouble with it at first, but he makes the play. 2 put away on ground balls to Altuve. I see the Rockets are playing the Warriors Game 3 tomorrow night. Even series, right? Here's the pitch to Hunter Renfroe. That's in there. 74 mile per hour curveball, strike 1. Here's the next pitch. Swing and a miss. Another beautiful pitch by Wesneski. That one was a sweeper. Started inside, went out. 0-2 is the count with 2 outs. Here comes the pitch. In the dirt. Another sweeper, but it looks like Renfroe was not planning to swing at that one. Maybe he read Wesneski's mind. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Renfroe swings at that one, hits it way up high. Pena's underneath it, looks like. He will put it away. And that's out number 3. Good. 3 up and 3 down in that inning. No hits. Looks like Wesneski is getting better as the game goes along. That's exactly what we need right now. It's 0-0. If he's now in lockdown mode, then that bodes well for the Astros in this game. The 4th inning is finished. We go into the top of the 5th. All tied up. The only thing on the board right now is a few hits. 4 for the Royals, just 1 for the Astros. Christian Walker due up in just a moment, followed by DeCinzo and Caratini. Casey says he wanted a 10-year deal too. Yeah, I was both surprised and pleased about the Altuve deal. I was surprised that they actually gave him such a long deal. You know, there are some things about Altuve that you could say are heavily dependent upon his youth, you know, like his speed and his agility. He's the leadoff batter, right? And there are a couple of reasons for that. He's fast. He's not the fastest on the team right now. You got a couple of other guys that are faster. But as a leadoff man, he's historically pretty good at that spot. And it doesn't make a lot of sense to move him down in the order. But as he gets older, it's going to become more and more important. Speaking of Altuve, they're showing some highlights of when the Astros did a walk-off against the Royals last year, 3-2, because of a double by Jose Altuve. Here comes the first pitch to Walker. That's hit hard to left field, but it's going to be playable. 1 pitch, 1 out, fly ball. Yeah, he said Houston is my home. I remember that, and I agree. I can't imagine him being anywhere else. He's the only player to have 2 infield hits in a World Series. Beat out the throws. Yeah. First pitch to DeCinzo is a swing and a foul ball. Strike 1. And that's the thing. Altuve's now quite a bit older, and so his speed is going to diminish exponentially from year to year. Maybe even from game to game. Here's the 0-1 pitch. DeCinzo takes that one for a ball, 87, low and outside. And so it's going to be more and more important for Altuve to really lock in his hitting. It's going to become the most important thing. Here's the 1-1 pitch, right on the outside edge. DeCinzo looked like he wanted to go with that, but let it fly, or rather let it go by. Bad decision. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the 50th pitch of the game for Lugo. DeCinzo goes down looking. 95 right in there. I'm not sure what DeCinzo's doing right now. He's not looking like he did the past couple of games versus the Blue Jays, that's for sure. Just taking pitches in the strike zone. Is that what we're doing? 2 away. It looks like the Astros are determined to not get any hits. Maybe the Batman can do something. Victor Caratini, he's at the plate. He takes the first pitch for a strike, 93, right in the middle of the zone. He had a line out his last at bat, so at least he got the wood on the ball. Here comes the pitch. He takes that one on the outside for strike 2. That one was just outside the zone, but the umpire favored it. 0-2 with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 3 straight pitches, 3 straight strikes. And that's out number 3. Man, Lugo has just 52 pitches through 5 innings. He barely has 10 pitches on average per inning. He's completely locking down the Astros bats right now, as they show another Ohtani commercial, of course. Wesneski is due up in just a moment. He's got 57 pitches through 4. So he is a little bit higher on average, maybe about 12 pitches higher. perhaps around 10 pitches, maybe higher per inning than Lugo. Drew Waters will be up in just a moment, followed by Freddie Furman and Kyle Isbell. Five full innings of shutout ball for both pitchers. Yet another pitching duel. I wasn't expecting this because I thought for sure the Astros would be able to get at least some hits and make some threats, but they've only had one runner in scoring position and one hit. Not a very good outing so far. Not for the bats. Can't complain about Wesneski, though. But at this rate, I think Wesneski can get through at least 2 more innings. He's been getting stronger. And at this pitch count, he can definitely finish 7. We'll see. Waters comes to the plate. I like that big, obnoxious screen right in the center field in Casey. I like the big crest, big Royals logo with the screen on it. It looks kind of strange. Kind of an anomaly out there in center field. First pitch from Lugo's on the way. Waters takes it on the outside edge. Very close. 74 mile per hour curveball, but ball 1. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. Another slow curveball in the bottom of the zone, but that one is fouled off to even the count 1-1. Sixtieth pitch of the game on the way for Wesneski, and that one is way outside. 91 mile per hour fastball, 2-1. Waters has a double today, batting .293 for the season. Why is he batting 7th? Oh yeah, he hasn't had many at bats, that's why. This one's hit out the left field, looks like it's going to drop, and it's fair, just inside the line. Waters is going to have him another double. 2 straight doubles for Waters. That one's an opposite field. Man. 92 mile per hour fastball. Right in the upper part of the plate. No movement. Muscled off. And put just inside the foul line. Opposite field for that double. So the Royals have a leadoff double. And now Freddie Furman comes to the plate. Here's the first pitch to him. He shows bunt. Takes it. Was that called a ball? That was a strike, and he called it a ball. Looks like the bunt fooled the umpire there. Should have been a strike, but 1-0 strikes. Shows bunt again. This one's in the dirt. Clearly not a ball. Clearly not a strike, rather. Should be 1-1, but it's 2-0. Here comes the pitch. And this is a bunt straight to Caratini, who comes out to get it. It was going towards Wesneski, but Caratini was able to run out there and grab it and throw to first base. Gets the out, but runner advances to third. 1 away. Kyle Isbell comes to the plate with 1 out, runner on third. 5 hits now for the Royals. Isbell flew out his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to him. He hits that one to right field. It's right to Smith. He's going to have a play at home. He's going to fire it in. Here's the tag. It's going to come in too late. He's safe. Just a little too far out there. The Royals score first on a sacrifice fly to right field. So the Astros blink. Wesneski blinks first The Royals are up 1-0. Smith was right there and did the best he could do, but it was just too deep. The location was bad. The throw location was bad, but it wouldn't have mattered. It came in too late. First pitch to Jonathan India is right in there for strike one. So no runners on, 1-0 KC with 2 outs. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Way inside on that sinker. Count is even 1-1. Jonathan India, man, he has some locks. 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a strikeout. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Just a little inside on that sinker. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Misses by about an inch. Fastball, 91 on the inside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Man. 69 pitches for Wesneski. Here comes the 70th. This is hit hard to left field. A single on a 3-1 count. 6 hits now for the Royals. And that ties the highest amount of hits that Wesneski has allowed so far this season. The pitching coach, I think it's Miller, he's over there talking with Espada. Bobby Witt Jr. comes to the plate. He's got himself 2 singles today off Wesneski. Let's see what happens here. Here's the first delivery. This is grounded to Pena. Pena scoops it up, fires the first, and he's got him. He had to hurry with that ball. Witt is fast, but so is Pena. The flash gets him for out number 3. Finally, the Astros get out of it, but Wesneski gives up a run. We go into the top of the 6th. Astros down 1-0. 6 hits for the Royals, 1 hit for the Astros. Cam Smith is due up, followed by Myers and my hero Jose Altuve. Half a dozen people following along right now. I appreciate you being here. It looks like another slow day today. Maybe it's because they're playing the Royals. Depending on the team, the view count goes up and down. But for those of you who are consistently coming back, I appreciate being here. Tom says Astros sleepwalking at the plate again. Yeah, they basically are. Very lethargic right now. I don't know if it's because they're on the road today and they don't feel quite there or what. Who knows? But whatever it is, they need to get used to it. That is baseball. That is MLB baseball. It's the way of things. It's the way it goes. Just gotta adjust to it and do your best. And right now, their bats are definitely not doing their best. Just 1 hit against the Royals through 5 innings. Yeah, that is lethargic. Cam Smith is at the plate. He's 0 for 1 today. He takes that first pitch outside for ball 1. Oh, they call that a strike? That was 2 inches out of the zone. Now that one's in the zone. I'll take that one. But that first pitch was so far outside, I don't see how that was a strike. But the count's 0-2. And he hasn't even swung the bat yet. Here comes the pitch. Way outside in the dirt. Called a ball. I'm surprised the umpire didn't like that one too. This ump has been a little inconsistent over the past couple of innings. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here gets the pitch from Lugo. Little check swing. They say he did not go. Counts even. That was low and in the dirt. 2-2. Here comes the pitch. This is grounded to third, just foul. Could have been an extra base hit if it had remained fair. We'll have another 2-2 pitch in just a moment. Smith needs to inject some energy into this inning. Here comes the pitch. A little high. Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Good job coming back and evening up this count, or getting this count full. 60th pitch from Lugo's on the way. Smith takes it inside for ball 4. Just too far, about 4 inches inside. Leadoff walk. That's something. First walk of the game for the Astros. Jake Myers, Mr. Baseball, comes to the plate. He had a throwback at bat his last time up. Let's see if he can become recent Jake Myers right now. Here's the pitch. He shows bunt. A running bunt. Completely missed it. 87 mile per hour. Slider, strike 1. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Smith has to go back to first on the throw over by Lugo. Only 1 steal so far this season for Smith. He's 1 for 1. Here's the 0-1 to Myers. Myers does lay down the bunt down the third base side. Is he going to beat that throw? It's so close at first base. But they do manage to get Myers at first. Smith gets to second. Man, that was close. That was a perfect bunt by Myers. Gave them a little headache, and he almost beat the throw. Myers is not a slow guy. Well, among active players, Jose Altuve with 2,261 hits with his current team. And that one's hit to the left side. They don't have a play at third. They go to first and they get Altuve at first base. So Altuve's out on the very first pitch with a ground out, but Witt goes to first to get Altuve. And ball was ripped pretty hard too. That was strange. Witt thought about going to third to try to get Smith, but then decided to go to first. So we have a runner on third with 2 outs. Yordan Alvarez at the plate. All he needs is a single. Here's the pitch. High. About 4 inches out of the zone. Good take by Alvarez. Could use a big hit from the big man right here. Batting .308 with runners in scoring position. 82 right in the middle of the zone. 82 mile per hour curveball, and he took it right in the middle of the zone. 1-1. Come on, Alvarez. Crush the ball. Here's the pitch. Outside. Ball 2. I'm interested to see if Lugo's actually going to pitch to Alvarez, or is he going to pitch around with 2, since he has 2 outs. We'll see. Here's a 2-1 pitch. High. Ball 3. It's looking like he's pitching around him right now. 90 mile per hour cutter. Paredes on deck. Paredes does have a hit. Here's the 3-1 pitch that's in there, and it's hit really hard out to right field, but that's playable. It's going to be out number 3. Sky high. He didn't hit it even. He got too far underneath it, and he flies out, and that will end the inning. So the Astros strand a man on third. And the count, or the score rather, remains 1-0 as we move into the bottom of the 6th. Nothing doing there. They're swinging, but just putting it in play. Yeah, Casey, if you notice that, if you just look at Altuve's hits, his ground outs, these were pretty hard struck balls, and in some cases just like a one hopper, kind of a line drive hopper, just in the wrong spot. Yeah. beating the infield throw. ALCS versus New York. Yeah, he had 2 infield hits, I believe. I think, is that what you said? Yeah, that's pretty amazing stuff right there. You got to be fast to do that. That sounds like something that Pena can do also. He had a couple of infield hits the other day. He had a really big game. And that game also, if I'm not mistaken, he also had some really great defensive plays. Astros defense has been looking phenomenal. Their pitching and their defense has just been stellar. Like I said, they just need to do the average for the hitting. If they can do the average on the hitting, then they'll be unstoppable. But as it stands right now, they are not impressing at the plate versus KC. Wisniewski will be facing Pasquantino again in just a moment, followed by Garcia and Massey. Pasquantino's over 2 today. Wisniewski is on the mound. Bottom of the 6th, about to get going. Here comes the pitch. That ball's in the dirt. 1-0 against Pasquantino on the curveball. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. 85-mile-per-hour cutter way up in the zone, and that's 1-1. Looks like the Astros are going to have somebody in the bullpen finally. Fouled away. Cutter 87 miles an hour. Strike 2. Casey says, long season. Let's not forget Houston's comeback last year after only winning 10 out of like 31. Yeah, that's right. Last year was pretty bad. This year is so much better already. Ball 2. Misses with that pitch. 75 pitches for Wisniewski. Here comes the next one. This one's hit high in the air. Is it playable? No, it's going to float into the crowd so that it will remain 2-2. So far, a very yawner of a game. Not much action. Not much traffic on the bases, especially for the Astros. Here's the next pitch from Wisniewski. Pasquantino swings at that one, puts it into center field. A soft liner. That's going to be another single. The 7th base hit against Wisniewski. Pasquantino is on first base with no outs. .77-mile-per-hour sweeper that just didn't drop. Stayed high in the zone. And Pasquantino benefited from that. That brings up Michael Garcia. Here's the first pitch. Way inside on that sinker. Ball 1. Pitching like this right now, suddenly Wisniewski might not get through the inning. Might not see him in the 7th inning. 1-0 is the count. Here's the pitch. Right in there, 88-mile-per-hour cutter, strike 1, and that evens the count. Got about 10 people following along right now. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate you joining. If you can, remember to like the stream when you get the chance. I appreciate that. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Fouled off. No, that's hit up in the air. That's going to drop. I thought that was a foul ball. And it drops right in between Altuve and Cam Smith into right field. I thought that was going to... It went up so high, like straight up. I thought it was a foul ball. But it was actually in play. Can you believe that? A bloop single to right center field. Right over Altuve's head. and right in front of Cam Smith. There was just no chance to get that one. And that's going to be it for Wisniewski. He's coming out. That's his last pitch of the game after 80 pitches, giving up 1 run. He's got 2 runners on base right now that he's responsible for. 8 hits off Wisniewski. And he's coming out of the game. That is going to be it. 2 runners on, no outs. Astros have a reliever coming in just a moment. Let's see if they've got it updated. It's going to be Okert, Stephen Okert. Yep. Stephen Okert is coming in for the Stros. So let's change that on the screen here. Stephen Okert. There he is. Stephen Okert. And I'll double check the live stream to make sure all of the information is updated correctly. Yep, bottom of the 6th, 2 runners on, no outs. That's correct. Okert's on the screen now. All good. The only thing that's not good right now is the Astros bats. Even with the runners on and no outs, a very commendable effort by Wisniewski today to get the Astros to this point. Hopefully Okert can lock it down right here, get out of the inning without any damage, and then the Astros can start hitting the ball. First pitch is about to be on the way to Michael Massey. Here's the lefty pitch. They're showing bunt. He hits it in the air. Okert can't catch it in the air. He's going to have to go to first. That was a strange series of events. It was bunted in the air. Okert was not able to catch it in the air. It looks like he had a chance at second base, but he went to first instead. I don't know what's going on there. Altuve was covering, but now we have runners on second and third with a 1 out. Hunter Renfroe comes to the plate. Here's the pitch. Low and inside, 92 mile per hour fastball, ball 1. One and 0. Here comes the pitch. Renfroe swings to that one and misses. Low and inside on a slider. Good pitch from Okert. Strike 1. The count is even. One ball, 1 strike. 1 out. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss again. Low and inside. Another slider in almost the exact same spot. Good pitch right there. That one was even further inside and low. Must have had a lot more movement on it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Another slider, but that one missed low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. I saw what he was trying to do there, I think. I was thinking the same thing. If he threw one from the outside and it came back in the bottom of the strike zone, but he missed it by a couple of inches. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Ooh, just a little too far inside and low for ball 3. Full count. 1 out. Runners on second and third with the full count. Renfroe 1 for 2 today. Okert throwing a lot of sliders. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. That one's hit hard to left field and might be gone. Just a little foul. Whoo! My goodness gracious, that was gone. He crushed that one to left field. And it looked foul by just inches, maybe a foot, They're going to show a replay here. Slider right in the middle of the plate. And Okert was just staring at it. It was almost gone. Here's another 3-2 pitch. This one's hit hard to left field. No, center field. Center field. Left center. Myers is back and he makes the catch, but the runners are going to tag. And that's going to score another run. Out number 2. Runner on third. 2-0 KC. KC putting runs on the board by sacrificing and bunting. Old school baseball, basically. 2 away. Drew Waters comes to the plate. He's got 2 doubles today. Here comes the first pitch. Swing and a miss. 92-mile-per-hour fastball. Right in the middle of the plate there. 0-1 is the count. Here's the pitch. High and outside. Ball 1. The count is even. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. In the dirt. Blocked by Caratini. Good stop there. 2 balls and 1 strike. Waters hit those 2 doubles left-handed. He's batting right-handed right now against the lefty Okert. And that next pitch is high and outside for ball 3. Okert behind in the count, 3-1. Wisniewski now has 2 earned runs on the board. Here's the pitch. This is hit high into right field. Smith is underneath it, no problem. Crowd reacted to it like it was going somewhere, but that ball was not anywhere near being dangerous, and that's out number 3. But Okert does shut it down as best he can, but there will be an earned run charged to Wisniewski after leaving runners on first and second. Astros are down 2-0. The game's still manageable, highly manageable. Just need 2 runs to tie it up. But we're going into the top of the 7th. One of only 3 more opportunities for the Astros to wake up at the plate and get some hits, put some runs on the board. Casey said, let's not forget Houston's comeback last year. Yeah, oh yeah, I read that earlier. You're right. And they have the ability to come back in a game like this, especially against the Royals. There's no reason why the Astros can't start hitting the ball and putting some runs on the board right now. They definitely can do it. They should have been doing it so far. They should have been. They just haven't been. Maybe it's because of having a day off and then having to go on the road and all of the changes involved with that. Who knows? It's difficult to say exactly the reasons why. My guess is that Lugo will remain in the game. He's only got 68 pitches. And 1 hit. Solid performance so far. In the top of the 7th, I expect to see him on the mound again. And he is. He's facing Isaac Paredes. Let's see if he can Isaac the ball again. He's 1 for 2 today. Here's the first pitch to Paredes. A little outside and low, but strike 1. I was ready to call that a ball. It was right on the line. A double today for Paredes, the only hit for the Astros. Here's the pitch. That one's also a little outside, called a ball. 87-mile-per-hour slider. Count is even, 1-1. Here's the pitch. Low and away. Slow curve, 80 miles an hour. Ball 2. Two balls, one strike. Here's the pitch. Right in there and hit hard to left field. And that's going to be down for a single. A line drive single for Isaac Paredes. 2 for 2 today. A double and a single. He needs the triple and the homer, and he can get the cycle. Second hit of the game for the Astros, and we have ourselves a leadoff base runner. Jeremy Pena comes to the plate over 2 today. His hitting streak on the line. First pitch is barely in the bottom of the zone for strike 1. 93 mile per hour strike. 2 ground outs for Pena today. Let's see if he can get a little bit of lift on the ball right here. He swings and misses that one. 84 splitter right in the bottom of the zone. It was a good one to swing at. Just couldn't make contact. He calls timeout. Readjusts his batting gloves. Pats his helmet. And steps back into the box. 0-2 is the count. Paredes on first. No outs. Here comes a pitch to the flash. Low and away in the dirt. Ball 1. 82 mile per hour slow curve. One ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch to Pena. Pena grounds that one at the plate. 80 miles an hour in the bottom of the zone. Count remains 1-2. Another hit, no outs this time. That's right. Right now, no outs. A big hit from Pena would go a long way right now. And he's due for one. He's due for a big hit. He's only got 3 home runs so far this year. It's crazy considering the power that he has. Here's the 1-2 pitch. High. 95 mile per hour fastball, missing a couple inches above the zone. Good take by Pena. 2-2, the count is even. Lugo's 77th pitch on the way. Strike 3 on the outside corner. Couldn't have been more perfect. You can't take a pitch like that. You cannot take a pitch like that. When you have 2 strikes, you got to swing the bat at that. Jeremy Pena goes down looking. Christian Walker comes to the plate. Let's see if he can pick up his hot bat again that he's had recently. Here's the first pitch from Lugo. A little tap down the third baseline on a check swing, but it goes foul. So that'll be strike 1. Paredes on first base with 1 out. A strikeout and a flyout today for Christian Walker. Walker batting 198 right now for the season. Has been trying to shake off the rust recently. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. This is hit to left field, left center. Center fielder's back all the way close to the warning track, and he brings it in. Paredes will go back to first base. Out number 2. Zach DeCenzo's coming to the plate. He squats, he stretches, he shakes off the dust. He comes to the plate, taps the dish, and steps in. Does he look like Yul Brynner? Swing and a miss. 81 mile per hour curve, low and away. Strike 1. 80 pitches now for Lugo. Here comes the next one. Right in there. 70 mile per hour slow curve. You know, a 70 mile per hour curve right in the center of the plate. You have plenty of time to think about that and swing. And DeCenzo didn't even flinch. He just let it go. 0-2 is the count. Here comes the pitch. Right on the outside corner. Low, and could have been strike 3. But the umpire called it, surprisingly, a ball. 1-2. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. So DeCenzo lets the strikes go, and he swings at the balls that are 4 or 5 inches out of the zone, goes down swinging, and the Astros come away with nothing again in the top of the 7th. We go to the bottom of the 7th, the Astros down 2-0. Taylor Scott is coming out of the bullpen. He will be the next pitcher for the Astros. So we'll go ahead and get that changed on the screen. There we go. Okay, nice and updated. Anything going on in the chat here? Just a little bit. Astros are mentally checked out for this game. It looks like the bats are mentally checked out. Hasn't been anything wrong with the defense. Nothing really wrong with the pitching. I mean, they've had some base runners, but they've only given up 2 runs. And you can't complain about that. If your pitchers give up a total of 3 runs in a game, you really can't complain about that. And right now we're at 2. It's not a big deal. But if you're getting the league average 4 runs, if you're scoring 4 runs, then the Astros will be leading this game 4-2, right? Astros didn't win the division, Tom says, last year as much as the Mariners lost it. Yeah, there are a lot of channels, a lot of Astros channels that basically talk about the American League West as being a really bad division. It's like the battle for the bottom, you know, who gets the weakest division, basically. But I think it's not quite as simplistic as that. I don't think that all of the teams are bad. You get a couple of teams in there that are pretty bad. But they just seem to beat each other up and struggle. I mean, think about it. The Astros they swept the Blue Jays. Not that the Blue Jays are awesome, but they're not bad. And they almost swept the Padres. Padres were the best team in baseball. So they have the ability to handle up. Freddie Fermin is at the plate. First pitch to him is in there for a strike. Taylor Scott on the mound. Here's the next pitch. Wow, that was a fast pitch there, but too far outside, and the count is even 1-1. Here comes the pitch. Foul ball. Swing and a miss. Mostly miss. It's like a foul tip. Bounced off the glove of Caratini. 1 ball, 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes to Fermin. Woo, that was close. Called a ball, just barely missed with a splitter. Count is even, 2-2. Here's the pitch. A little high. Fastball, 93, misses the zone. We have a full count now. Fermin is 0 for 1 today. Batting .216 for the season. Here comes the pitch from Scott. Swing and a miss. He gets the strikeout on the fastball. Haven't seen many of those today. Haven't seen many strikeouts. That brings up Kyle Isbell, left-handed batter. Here's the first pitch from Scott, about a foot outside for ball 1. They're telling some interesting stories about Taylor Scott right now in South Africa. Next pitch is grounded to Altuve, who scoops it up, fires over to Walker, and that'll be out number 2. Isbell grounds out on the second pitch. And brings up Jonathan India. Two away here in the bottom of the 7th. 8 hits for the Royals this game. 2 runs. 2 hits for the Astros and a big goose egg on the board right now. Here's the pitch to India. Right on the outside edge for strike 1. Man, that could have gone either way. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Right in there, right in the heart of the plate. 85-mile-per-hour splitter. Just froze him. 0-2 with 2 outs. Scott getting it done so far this inning. Let's see if he can get another strikeout here. Pick up that K, Scott. Here comes the pitch to India. Swing and a miss. A high fastball gets him. 2 punch-outs. How do you like Taylor Scott, another pitcher that I really like for the Astros? He comes in 1-2-3 inning with 2 strikeouts. Man, he was looking sharp. That's the way you get it done right there. And the Astros will be back up at the plate in just a moment in the top of the 8th. Down 2-0. Looking to blow this game up in either the 8th or the 9th. We will see. Thanks to everyone who's following along right now. I appreciate you being here. No new subs today. I'm kind of surprised about that, but at the same time, not so much surprised now that I think about it. Perhaps not as many fans of this matchup. Who cares about watching the Astros and the Royals? Maybe some Astros fans just assumed that they would beat the Royals or should beat them, and they're not interested in seeing this team. If the Astros are playing the Dodgers or the Cubs or some of these other more high-profile teams, a lot of people, a lot more people will watch. I just realized that I have the wrong information at the top of the screen. It says Daikin Park. That's incorrect. It's Kauffman Stadium. Let me change that. Kauffman Stadium. There we go. Sorry about that. That was incorrect. All right. Can't believe I kept that information on the screen this whole time. It was wrong. My bad. All right. Right there. Yeah, it's live right now. All right. Lugo's back on the mound and facing the Batman Victor Caratini's 0 for 2 today. He has a strikeout and a line out. The first pitch he takes for ball 1. Caratini takes a timeout now and steps out of the box. Now he's back in and ready to go. Here comes the pitch from Lugo. A little check swing. Low and inside, ball 2. 86th pitch of the game for Lugo. A nice hard swing by Caratini. Fouls it off down the first base line. Comes around too early on it. 2 balls and 1 strike. This is where the Astros just start hitting home runs, right? Royals have somebody warming up the bullpen now. That one's inside. Almost hit Caratini. 3 balls and 1 strike. Not a very serious warm-up out there. They're just tossing the ball around. Next pitch from Lugo is in there, but Caratini rips that one. This time fair. Between the first baseman and the second baseman, the Batman comes through with a single. We have another leadoff runner with no outs. Once again, a little redundant on my part. Leadoff runner with no outs. Typically, that's what it means, right? Cam Smith comes to the plate looking to do his first damage of the day. Here comes the first pitch to Cam Smith. Lugo gets the call on the lower part of the plate. 92-mile-per-hour pitch. Strike one. 90th pitch of the game coming up. Oh, that was the 90th pitch. Grounded to third, just barely foul. That was almost an extra base hit right there. 0-2. They're showing some highlights and talking about Zach Greinke. He is one of the most interesting players I've ever seen. Very interesting personality on that guy. 0-2 against Cam Smith. Here's the pitch. He hits that one hard, and it's going to be at Witt Jr. He goes to second. Are they going to get him at first? They say yes. It looks like they doubled him up. Are they going to take a look at it? They might not. That was a rip right to Witt Jr. Bounced twice. Witt fired to second. Smith was not able to beat the throw, looks like. Yep, he was out. Just saw the replay. So our base runner is gone. 2 outs, and that brings up Jake Myers. Myers takes the first pitch inside. Should have been a ball, but called a strike. It was about an inch out, or inside rather, out of the zone. Here's the pitch. This one's hit right back to the pitcher. Lugo stops it, tosses it to first, and that's out number 3. A line drive shot knocked down by Lugo, and he's able to pick it up and lob it to first. Excuse me. And that's it. Astros do nothing. 3 up and 3 down again in the 8th inning. Astros with just one more opportunity to do something in this game. What a terrible performance from the plate, though. Just 3 hits in 8 innings. They've only really threatened to get a runner in twice. Not a whole lot to report this game. Don't shoot the messenger. Let's see here. Let's see who the Astros might have coming up here in the bottom of the 8th on the mound. There might have been a pitching change. Let me double check it. Right now, Scott is still listed as being on the mound. There's a good chance that he will remain in. He's pitched 2 innings several times. He just might stay in the game. Those bright colored pastel San Diego Padres jerseys are not stylish. I love that Caratini threw out Bobby Witt Jr. earlier. That was great. They're showing the highlights of it. Witt Jr. is at the plate right now. Oh, Bennett Sousa is going to be in the game. Sousa is replacing Scott. That's interesting. First pitch is in there for strike 1. Oh, and 1 to Witt. Here's the pitch. A little low, just misses by a couple of inches. 96-mile-per-hour fastball. The count's even 1-1. One ball, one strike. Here comes the pitch. Slider just barely misses a few inches off the plate. 2-1. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. That one's in the dirt. Holy cow, that was a little wild. 3 balls and 1 strike on that 95-mile-per-hour fastball. Sousa not looking like he has very much control right now. Three balls and 1 strike. Royals have a guy warming up in the pen. Looks like Lugo will not be back for the 9th. He could, but I don't think he will be. 3 balls and 1 strike. Here's the pitch to Witt. Right in the lower part of the zone. He went to run to first, but that is strike 2. Full count. 96 right in the bottom of the zone. Good pitch by Sousa. 3 balls, 1 strike. Right in there and grounded to the hole, and Pena is not going to be able to get it. He's going to have to quickly run over and pick it up. He had a backhand opportunity to grab it and throw, but Witt is so fast there was probably no chance for him to get that. So runner on first with no outs. That brings up Vinny Pasquantino. Run on first, no outs. Sousa throws to first base. The crowd boos a little bit. He's back, no problem. First pitch to Pasquantino's on the way. That one's low, 95-mile-per-hour fastball, missing by a couple of inches. One ball, no strikes to Pasquantino. He's 1 for 3 today with a 186 average for the season. He lines that one to Altuve. Altuve goes to first for the 2nd out. The double play. A line drive catch. Are they going to take a look at it? Looks like they might take a look at it. But Altuve snatches that line drive out of the air. Fires the first. They call him out. We're going to take a look at the replay and see if he's safe. Witt dove back. But no, they're not going to take a look. That's out number 2. Double play for Altuve. Heck yes. Here's the next pitch. Michael Garcia flies up to Christian Walker at first base on the very first pitch, and that's out number 3. 1-2-3 inning. Excellent play by Altuve right there. Heads up. We go into the top of the 9th. Astros' last chance to do something here, down by 2. Who's coming up to the plate? Let's take a look and see. I don't even know who's pitching for the Royals in the 9th, but let's take a look. They probably have a guy coming in to replace their starter, Lugo. And as soon as I find out who it is, I'll let you know. But for the Astros, who's coming up? Can you believe 9 hits this game for the Royals? And only 3 hits for the Astros. I would have flipped the script on that. At the end of the game, it's 2-0. One team has 9 hits, one team has 3. I would have guessed the Astros had 9 hits and 2 runs, but I wasn't expecting this. My hero, Jose Altuve, comes to the plate. He's over 3 today, but he has scorched the ball twice. Top of the order. This is where you want to be for the Astros. Altuve, Alvarez, and Paredes. It could be 1, 2, 3. The Astros could take the lead with just the first 3 batters. Paredes is kind of hot today. He's got 2 of the Astros' 3 hits, a single and a double. No hits yet for Altuve, but he can change it right here. Lucas Erceg is on the mound. 97 miles an hour in the top of the zone. A swing and a miss by Altuve. He goes after that first one, but is not able to connect. Here comes the pitch. A little low and outside, 84-mile-per-hour slider taken by Altuve. Good take. And that evens the count, 1-1. I don't think that I have Erceg's picture in my folder. I'll have to try to get it. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Woo! 97, a little low. That could have been a call to strike, but the umpire laid off unbelievably. Unbelievably. Here comes the 1. Oh, they did call that a strike. Why is it changed now suddenly? Thought he called that one a ball. Altuve hits that one sky high, and it's going to be taken by the second baseman for out number 1. 2 outs away from this game being over. Let's see if Jordan can do something here. He definitely can. The big question is, will he? That guy says we sure don't look like we're on a 3-game winning streak. You're right. Sweep the Blue Jays, almost sweep the Padres, and then play like this against KC. Makes no sense, but that's Astro-style baseball. Swing and a miss by Jordan Alvarez, the 84-mile-per-hour slider right in the center of the plate. Big hack by Alvarez. Misses completely. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Erceg. That's hit hard to right field, but it's not going to get all the way to the wall or all the way to the fence, and that's out number 2. It's put away by the right fielder. 2 fly balls out there for Jordan. 2 away, 1 out away from this game being over, and the crowd lethargically comes to their feet. Isaac Paredes comes to the plate. I'm sorry. Yeah, should be Paredes. Oh, they're just showing Pena. He's on deck. I was wondering why they were showing Pena, but Isaac Paredes is at the plate. Here comes the pitch. In the dirt, ball 1. 86-mile-per-hour slider missing the mark. We just need 1 base runner and then 1 hit to tie this game. Here's the 1-0 pitch. He takes that one in there for strike 1, an 86-mile-per-hour slider that evens the count 1-1. This crowd is so lethargic. They're like, yay, yeah, strike 1, yeah. Here's the 1-1 pitch in the dirt, outside, ball 2. Royals fans, many of them already leaving the game. Is it over yet? I don't think it's over just yet. 2 balls and 1 strike against Paredes. It's only 2-0. Come on, do something. He takes that pitch, 97, right in the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Astros down to 1 strike in the 9th. This is not going to be much of a game to update, but as soon as it's over, I'll do that. That pitch is high, 97 miles an hour, up and away, ball 3. We have ourselves a full count. Paredes 2 for 3 today. He's got the single and the double. He needs the triple and the home run. Here's the pitch. Grounded foul down the third baseline. The count remains 3-2. Tom says, thanks for doing this and putting up with my cynicism. Tom, no problem. But everything you're saying, I feel. And I agree with. They need to get their heads on straight. Tom says it'd be nice to see an Astro shorten their stroke and try to get on base in these cases. Paredes takes a pitch he thinks is ball 4, but that will be strike 3. And that's it for the Astros in this game. They go down. I'm going to give you guys a quick update. There's not much to say about this game other than what Tom expressed about them mentally checked out at the plate. Astros defense was locked down. They only gave up 2 runs, but they couldn't even get one on the board. They got shut out by the Royals of all teams. The scoring was done in the 5th and the 6th. Isbell hit a sacrifice fly in the 5th, scoring Waters, 1-0 KC in the 6th. Renfroe hit a sacrifice to center, scoring Pasquantino, 2-0 Royals. And that was all of the scoring. 9 hits for the Royals today. 2 earned runs for Wesneski, and 3 hits only for the Astros. And that's it. Astros bats were the tail of the tape, which is a too common, historically significant problem from last year until this year. Like Tom said, I agree, mentally checking out at the plate and not hitting the ball. But that's pretty much it for today. I'm going to go ahead and jump off here. There's nothing else to really say, but the game tomorrow has a similar start time. It is an evening game, game 2. Let's expect the Astros to wake up a little bit and win the next 2 so they can take this series. But that's all for now. I appreciate you guys being here, and we'll end it there. Until the next game, we'll just say Geaux Stros.